Okay, here I am, ready for my darkroom experience. I'm doing this because in the darkness I'm trying to find the light. I'm gonna be 7 days in my room that I completely um, set up for the complete darkness. No phone, silence, meditation, yoga, qigong, and see what happens. I will let you know.
Kind of just jump in. I'm gonna talk a little bit why I went into the dark, and then I'm gonna just ask you. It's gonna be more of like a podcast style of why you went into the dark, and I'll ask you some questions. I'm like, why did you go into the dark? What did you experience? Tell me about your experience and stuff. You go into complete darkness for 12 plus days. Some do shorter, some do longer. So some people do like 5 days where you secrete 5-MeO DMT, which is something that I did. Um, and you can go in for 12 plus days depending on how concerted you are, like how organized you are with like your spiritual walk and spiritual path. So the chemical process is really based on light hitting your eyes or the lack of light hitting your eyes, which makes you become enlightened, internally enlightened, through melatonin and the transformation of the chemical structure of melatonin, the electrical structure of melatonin, which is melatonin floods your pineal gland to 20 to 25 milligrams. Then you have your first ego death at 40%, which is penoline, and you start disassociating from your reality. Then you have about 80% of an ego death, which is from psychoactive 5-MeO DMT. Okay. And that will build up to another 25 milligrams. That's after day 5 to day 7. And then from day 7 to day 12, you start cultivating NN or N DMT, which is the visual flood of the psychoactive drug 5-MeO amplified, where you actually see the visual aspects of the psychoactive 20 to 25 milligrams. So it changes, and this literally stemmed from melatonin, and every human being secretes melatonin from this standpoint. So that's like a very important thing too. Is then you also look at and you realize that everybody is a walking enlightenment. Everybody has the potential to be a walking enlightenment, which means that it's not whether you choose this church or whether you choose this mosque or whether you choose this temple or whatever. You're the temple. Then you actually start realizing, oh, it's right here. It's been here the whole time. Um, so there's that part too. So you change your chemical homeostasis and your metabolic set point or your new frequency, your new vibration. Second, it also puts it into perspective. Like I just said, you are the reference point of your reality that you experience, and you blame it on yourself instead of saying, oh, I went here and I was saved. You realize you saved yourself. You had to go back into yourself to save yourself. You had to re-enlighten yourself. You had to help yourself out. So I guess my first question for you, Francesca, is how was your darkroom experience? How long did you go in? And what were some things that inspired you to go in?
Okay, so I went for 7 days. So I did 7 days darkroom, and what inspired me was obviously because I've heard this experience from you, and then from there I started to research, and I've read articles and listened to podcasts of other people that did it, and I was like honestly very curious to experience it myself, because I'm one of those people that don't really trust for what has been said. I need to do it. I need to feel it. I need to try it. I need to experience it. So I was like, yeah, this is all cool, but what is it? I need to see. I need to do it. And that was probably what really took me to that experience, and wanted to do it fully. That's why I know, like, one day I remember you told me, like, maybe start with like more dark rooms and do like 1 or 2 days, but I jumped in straight away on the 7 days because I was like, I want to see fully what can. And actually I even regret, I would like, next time I'll do it longer. I want to do it longer. um
I
not
remember telling you, like, when we first started meeting and when you first became my client, I said, when you get in a dark room, eventually you're going to do one. And then you're going to say, I wish I did it longer. I wish I stayed in. I said, I remember telling you that. And now there's confirmation right there of like, you wanted to, you want to do it longer. So
yeah, I mean, not that it's like a pleasurable things that you're like, yeah, I want to stay on holiday longer. No, like it's been really tough. But yeah, I've been through a lot of hard times, and also it happened to me a few times that I was thinking, fuck it, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna get out, I can't handle this, I need to get out. But then I was like motivating myself. I said, no, you started this thing, you wanna do the experience, because you can't leave halfway, otherwise you're not gonna do the experience and you're not still not gonna do what's about. So I've really kind of not like force myself, yeah, in somehow some way to stay there and experience it fully. I think he went through different stages where the first few, like 1 or 2 days was kind of easier. I was sleeping a lot and meditating and sleeping, it was like kind of being together.
they were,
Yeah, and so it kind of made it easier. And I went there kind of prepared because I had my yoga exercises and I had my breath work to do, my mantras, my mudras, my all my tools that, I was like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm fine. And I stocked up my fridge with all juices and smoothies, and I decided to do fasting most of the time, so I didn't really prepare any food. That was my choice. So I had all juices and smoothies. I had some chocolate because I knew I would have needed for like moments. And I'm glad I had this thought. But beside that, no, I didn't have any food as well. And no food was needed, if I can be honest. But yeah, from the third day, then when it really became challenging, and obviously from the third day I wasn't even tired anymore, so I wasn't really sleeping anymore. And but the connection with the reality is lost. You don't know what time is it, you don't know what day is it, you don't know what's going on. And your body also at the beginning was clear, but then no, I don't know, I didn't.
because you lose track of time. And I really think that what you're doing is you're entering an energetic portal inside
Oh
of our,
yeah,
what we're doing is like, if you go inside of yourself and you don't know what time it is or where you are or what day it is, then you're just going to assume every day is the same day. And so if you assume every day is the same day, then you're going to just make that day even better every single day, so you can at least have a better day than you had the day before. And
yeah.
so, you know what I mean?
And
And
that's
so, like,
funny because like after being through the third day, where honestly the third day what happened to me was like I was tired of everything. I would like start yoga, I don't want to do yoga. Start breath work, I'm tired of doing breath work. I'm like, because I was like doing these things over and over and over and over. And the third day I really started with like a very kind of bad attitude towards everything. I was like, I don't want to do anything. I'm tired of everything. I'm like, and like I literally sit down and like I'm just gonna wait for the day to go. I was like,
yeah,
it has been terrible because honestly, try to just wait for the day to go. It's like it's really hard.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
fourth day was like, I've been through the hell yesterday. Nothing can be worse. So my mood was again pumped up and I was like again excited to do everything because I was like, worse than yesterday. Impossible.
So tell me, okay, so now we'll follow up with some good questions too. What were some things that you experienced in the dark room? You know, did you have visions or did you see visions, or was that something that, because I remember my first time I saw barely any visions and I went 12 days, and then I had to learn how to practice dark room to make it easier and better. I darkened my room and I did more breath work and meditation, and that secretes the DMT in the lungs to go ignite in the pineal gland to where you have those trippy experiences. Um, so they're definitely all possible, but I just have to ask you, like, what were some of your experiences when you went in for the 7 days?
So as you said, honestly, I didn't have like visions or fully DMT experiences, even if I was like, I felt that I was stimulating it through my breath work, but the breath work I had to do was so intense that I was like physically exhausted before. But I could feel sometimes that my brain was literally kind of lighting it up. I could see those lights and those patterns, but after a few seconds, they would be gone. So I couldn't jump into the experience, but I see that was there. I could see it, but it was like there and then gone.
Yeah, you at least had confirmation
Yes.
that there's something inside of you
Yes.
that you're talking to.
Yes. 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 Also because so two things, like once was like lights and patterns, and that was very similar to what I've seen when I've done the bufo, which is the venom from the frog, and that's also DMT.
Yeah, that's 5-MeO DMT.
Exactly. So that was really like, I would say the same thing that I've seen there. So these like very bright lights and colors that don't even belong to the spectrum we know. It's different. And another, the first vision I had during the dark room was actually a light turned on, like literally like a bulb of light that turned on a door. And that was clear. Like that was something that was, I wasn't sleeping. I was fully awake, but I had this boom door in front of me and then disappeared quickly. Like I could see
Wow.
it and that was gone. But something that I would like to explore more is like when you say that we open like an energetic portal or something, um, that experience I had pretty intense in this meaning. So between the third and the fourth day, I can't say that I had a vision of him, but it came into my mind clearly and I could see him. Was the father of one of my very ex-boyfriend that I had in Italy 15 years ago or something. And which, like, a long time ago, but he always like been very connected to me, and he loved me a lot. And every year since then, since probably 20 years, that every year somehow it send me an email asking how I am, or send me Christmas wishes, whatever. So not that we have a relationship or a connection like constantly, that we talk to each other, and it's someone that easily can come up to my mind. It's just like an email per year, because I had a block notice. I have like a book where I was like writing down as well somehow during the dark room, and there is a page where I literally wrote down his name, and I was like, oh, this is so weird that I thought about this person, so I wrote down like, check on him, something. And like my heart was actually telling me, well, not really him. You should text your ex-boyfriend, the son. All right, well, whatever. I came out of the dark room, and when I got my phone in my hands to check my messages and stuff, I found an email from my ex-boyfriend that was telling me that his father died those days. And yeah, I know. And I was like, I was really shocked, because I was like, he came to say bye. I don't know. And I started this program with you because I never been close to spirituality before in my life in anyhow. And I never believed in spirits. I never believed in connection between death and alive. I was really, really, really far from these things. And still, like, it's something that I don't know. I'm just like, mm, and this experience though, it completely changed the idea of it, or I don't even know, but like something at an energetical level it's happening. I don't know if it's literally the spirit that came to me, but like some sort of energy of him. I'm sure he came to say bye. So yeah, I don't know how to verbalize it, but something happened there.
Yeah, no. And sometimes there's no words to verbalize, like scenarios like that, because definitely there's a spiritual connection to it, because your ex, and your ex's dad are all somewhat interconnected in spirits in many different forms. And then obviously he was asking about you and how that's interconnected with you in the dark room, because you're in a different state of being. You're more in a state of receptibility
Yeah.
to where you're spirits. There's also 3 versions of spirits too. So injection, so injecting positive spirits, positive light vibrational spirits into you, being able to perceive light vibrational spirits, being receptive of light vibrational spirits, injecting them. Then there's ejection, so ejecting them out, like no longer needing things, repelling. The other one is attracting, but ejection is repelling. Then there's projection, where you're actually projecting your spirit out. And so that's actually what this man could be doing. He could have been projecting his spirit out to you to some degree for you to know in your consciousness, and you're downloading, uploading his spirit, his ones and zeros, his light code, his genetically his genetic DNA, his Solomonic DNA. So many different things like this. And you're also connected to his son, so you're connected to his line of his genetic line to some degree, whether it's mentally or emotionally, through spiritual cords and through different cords and stuff, mental cords, emotional cords, physical cords, spiritual cords. And so you could have different connections through these and have experiences in darkroom.
And I guess because after I came out of the darkroom, I started to understand other things that happen in there. For example, my sister was present in every one of my dreams. And
Wow.
every single one. But like, it makes sense. I'm very connected to my sister, so it can be whatever. But when and like the only weird thing is that she wasn't actively in my dreams. She was a presence observing on the side. She was there, like, I don't know, on the side watching, but she wasn't. And that was for every dream. She wasn't actively. I was having my dreams. Some of them were apocalyptic and stuff. I was there and like whatever. But she was just like standing, she was just there, not doing anything. But every single one. And when I came out of the dark room, some of my friends were like, "Hi, oh good, well, how you do? Was there? But make sure you call your sister. Make sure you call your sister." I was like, "Why?" It's like, because she was so worried. She messaged every one of my friends, and since I'm in Australia, which is 7 years, she never contacted anybody. So I didn't even know how she had the contact of these people, honestly. But she was so worried, and when I talked to her, she was like, I was so worried. I couldn't stop thinking about you. And I was like, yeah, I could kind of sense it, I was like, you being so focused on me. It was like, literally brought you there with me. You were there. And the funny thing is, when I was telling this story to one of my co-worker, which is also a good friend, he then and because he was in my dreams 80% as well, not as much as my sister, but 80% he was there with my sister as a presence too. But I was feeling that was like a little bit odd to say or something, so I didn't really say it. But when I was telling the story of my sister to him, he then say, well, like, I've been thinking of you so intensively as well, and like in some moments I was even thinking, I hope she can see me, I hope she can see me, I hope she can see me. And then I was like, well, okay, like, you were there too, And these three things kind of made me understand. Again, I don't know how to verbalize it, but something at an energetical level happens there. And you really open your receptors. You really increase your antennas. I don't know how to say it, but
That's really what it is. Like, you definitely. So I had some very similar experiences. I had some friends reach out to my parents, like some of my good friends reach out to my parents, like, hey, is he okay? All this type of stuff. We haven't talked to him. And then I came out of my dark room after the first 12 days, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just fine, guys. Like, yeah, I had visions of you and all this type of stuff. I was able to perceive you. So yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Francesca. It's energetics. It's spiritual, it's mental, emotional, because we are electromagnetic beings. Our mind are electric, our emotions are electromagnetic, and our physical being is magnetic. And so that is electric, and so that's energetic in some form. That's some form of energy. And so when somebody's thinking about us or feeling, I hope this person sees me, at the other receptibility, at the end of the way that you can perceive it, is you see him 80% in your dreams, you see him 80% in your visions. Same with your sister, like, you're able to see these different types of things. And I think it's also like your perceivability, how open your third eye is, how open your pineal gland is. And the more open and receptive you are, you're able to pick up on these energies from people. And you can do this whether you're in a dark room or not.
Yeah, and like it's been very, very interesting. And also like more internally what happened as well was like that was like probably the third day. At one stage I had like a stream of thoughts that I couldn't stop, that I couldn't control. And this is very hard for me to explain because I never experienced this. Because everyone, yeah, everyone, and I've done with my friends this example. I always say, try to imagine a strawberry, I visualize a strawberry. We can, yeah, we can imagine a strawberry, easy. And then I said, now don't think about the strawberry anymore and think about, I don't know, a soccer field and someone that is playing soccer and is having a soccer match. Okay, I can go from the strawberry through to the soccer field, easy, I can do it. Yeah, when I was in the dark room, I started to have these streams of thoughts and I couldn't move my focus on other things. I was taken. I was like, and I didn't know how to get out. And like these were like how can I explain? It was like a stream of terrible images. Like honestly, it was horrible, 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 horrible images. And it was happening like I don't know how to do. It was happening like a download of images,
Yep.
So it was
Yep. I know
very
exactly what
fast, and it was like just going in front of me very fast, and I couldn't stop it. And I was thinking about me. I was like, why are you thinking about these things? And like, because I am the kind of person, I'm very loving, I'm very peaceful. I am so scared of like horror movies that I don't even watch horror movies. So I was like, where did you even take these images? Where did you even in the back of your brain, where did you take these images? Yeah, you avoid all the contact with all these horror things because you're scared. So what the fuck, and then I
yeah.
started to literally, like, I was caressing myself, I was hugging myself, I was like, it's okay, you're here, I'm here for you, I love you, you're great, you're fantastic, don't you worry, I don't know what that is, but it's not you, don't worry. And I was there for me. I was like, I really increased the love for myself, but like it's a different love to say, oh, self-love, or I don't know. It was like a true love. It was like, it's okay,
Exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Like there's only very few people who have experienced what you've experienced because most people don't know. They're never educated on darkroom. They don't even, most people don't know about darkroom. They've never even heard of it. And then when you tell somebody, how you go into a dark room, most people will say you're crazy. But then when you do go into it, but you're the only one who's experienced it, but they haven't experienced it. They're only projecting their
Yeah,
limits, their limited vantage point and insecurities of and fears onto you of like, I can never do that. So I'm going to make sure that you feel fear for my not being able to do that. But you've experienced it, and you've experienced these things where you have some of these different images coming through, which I had very similar things too. And you do have to caress yourself. You do have to love yourself and hug yourself in a way. It's just like, I'm here. These things are not you, you
yeah,
know. And there's something even beyond those pictures. So like, there's even more light to be shed on it. So the longer you go into dark room, the more practices that you have, the better that it gets. You cleanse these aspects of you. You reach such a certain level of self realization and self actualization and self love and selfless self care that it amplifies your body to a degree newly, like a new purification and a new self, a new, like you baptize yourself, really. You
yeah, yeah.
cleanse yourself.
Yeah, I agree. This expressed very well. The only thing that I could do, but that was only towards the end of it, I started to do my chanting, my Buddhist chanting, and that helped my head kind of clear up from all this. But I had the feeling that I had to go through it, um, no matter what, I had to go through it. I had to face it. I had to, even if I was scared, I was like questioning myself. I was like, why your mind is bringing up these, but something was happening that I had to go through, you know. And I'm glad I did, because when I came out of the dark room, beside the first like few hours that I was trying to get back to reality and to light, and to even not just light, the sound as well, because
Yeah.
when you are in silence and you go back to like noise and voices and people talking, you're like, I don't know. Like, funny thing,
Yeah.
as
Your
soon as I
sense.
got out and like it was a nice day and something, and my friends like, oh, let's go to the beach, and I was confused. I went, and all that people and thing, I was like, oh, I ran back to home and put back my blindfold and closed the door. I was like, hi, I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's very interesting. Okay, so I have one last question before I close this video. We're gonna do one more, and I'll ask different questions too for you. Um, but this one's about to close up at like 42 minutes. So I do have one more question, which is, you said lights and visions and visuals and sounds were sensitive to you. Um, do you believe like you were enhancing your sensibility when you were in dark room going through silence,
Oh
and
yeah,
then also when you came back out, like, and you did go to the beach or you went outside, did you see that everything was more colorful and more beautiful than when you went inside the first time?
100%. No, that's for sure. Like, your senses definitely increases somehow. And like when I was in the dark room, because I couldn't see and I couldn't hear anything. Like, I have a candle in my room, for example, that I could never smell it before. All of a sudden, I started to smell it from like a chair that is far away. I was sitting down and right there, like, what's this perfume? And I realized that was that fucking candle that I could never smell the perfume from. And then, because I have some sage and some Palo Santo in the room, but they were off, of course. And like from the toilet, for example, which is super far away, I could like have like big vamps of like sage and Palo Santo. And I was like, wow, that's weird, because it's off. And normally I have to go very close to be able to smell it. And that was in the dark room. And when I came out, beside the fact the light was so bright and all the colors were like, yeah, as you say, more bright, more colorful, and the sound as well was so intense that I couldn't handle at the beginning. I had to like, all right, I need to get used to this. And it took the whole day and the whole day after, kind of, to be able to handle this new, I don't know, powerful reality. And
Yeah.
but yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna conclude this. This is Dark Room. And I was just doing this more like podcast style, interviewing Francesca. She recently just did her 7-day dark room, where she had many different experiences. I've done this about 4 times too. So I always like to meet up with people and encourage people to try it or do it, because not only do you face yourself, you grow within yourself, but you really start to see many different things that yourself is capable of and you never knew that you were even capable of. You start to see visions, sacred geometrical patterns, light frequencies, sound frequencies. You also start to see sound and hear light. You start to see a lot of different things outside of the spectrum. The more that you secrete 5-MeO DMT and NDMT. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of you. And this is Francesca. All right. Peace out, guys.